Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Webinar Wednesdays. My name is Joshua Reynolds. I am the Communications Specialist here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, and I would like to give you a special welcome to Are You Planning to Succeed? Facilitated by Kisha Logan, our Manager of Small Business Services. So in just a moment, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Kisha, but just a little bit of housekeeping. If you would like to ask any questions, right next to the video that you're viewing live, there is a group chat in which you can enter any questions that Kisha will be happy to answer after her presentation is over. And then lastly, I want to invite you to turn up your volume all the way up so that you can hear everything that Kisha has to say. So again, use the group chat function to ask questions throughout the webinar that Kisha will get to right after her presentation is finished. So without any further ado, I present to you Kisha Logan, our Manager of Small Business Services here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation.
Thanks, Josh. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Webinar Wednesdays. Today, we'll be talking about business plans. Ask yourself, are you planning to succeed? I just want to start off by giving you a statistic and a couple of quotes. According to the Small Business Administration, 70% of new businesses last at least 2 years, and about half of those survive only 5 years. So, how do you become one of the businesses that make it? And, of course, I ask that question and I start with that quote because I believe that business plans are a very important process in starting your business and planning out your roadmap to what it is you're going to do. There are several reasons why we want to have a business plan. Sometimes you just want it for yourself. You need to know, what it is that you're going to do. Sometimes it's to attract partners, and sometimes it's in order to attract investors. And so, why you need a plan? By failing to prepare, you are planning to fail. That's Benjamin Franklin. Plans are worthless. Planning is essential. That's Dwight Eisenhower. And everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's Mike Tyson. Let's jump into our slides. Don't make me laugh, Josh. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about the 6 key components of a business plan. And as I stated, a business plan is going to be your guidebook of how you intend to operate your business and measure its performance. A good business plan is the difference between success and failure. So you'll want to take the time to think it through. And if you do that, you're going to know at the end of that process what it is that you are up against, where the business is heading, and the strategy that you're going to use to get there. You'll also know what the financial returns are for the company, and that is information that investors are interested in as well. And when I say investors, that means that you are trying to attract funding. You want someone to actually give you some money, and then when you start making money, you are going to repay their money with interest or a loan. If you're going to go to one of the financial institutions, a bank or FSC First, our partners, you're going to need a business plan. They want to know how you're going to use the money and that you've thought through this process. And they want to know that if they give you the money, you have a plan in place that's going to allow you to be able to repay the money. So there are 6 key components of a good business plan. Number 1, industry and competition. This is going to be your most critical research that will be done up front. You need to know who your key competitors are. You need to know how large is the industry sector that you're going to be entering. You need to know how quickly that industry sector is growing, because that's going to tell you if there's an opportunity for your business to start. You want to know, are you a first mover or are you entering into a crowded space? And you also want to know what share of the market space is reasonable for you to try and capture with your business plan, like your model. You might have a service or a good that you're providing, but you're answering a need to something. So you can do this. When I meet with people and we're talking about business plans, they want to go to the library or find this information out in some report. Those are definitely tools that you can use, but the World Wide Web, the internet, and shopping shopping by foot, going to your competitors, looking and seeing what they're doing, how they're operating. When you came up with this idea that you were going to start a business, you said, okay, this is something that, here's a problem. I know a great solution, and I can make money by providing this solution. And so you've seen that either someone else is doing it, but you could do it better, or no one else is doing it, and you're just going to blow the market. You're going to just blow the market out of the water. So that's where you're going to start. You can look whatever your industry sector is. Go on the internet. Say if you wanted your business to be located in Largo, Maryland. Well, look at the businesses that are like yours in Largo, Maryland. Pick 3 to 5 of them and see, how they're operating, and then think about what it is that you're going to do differently. What are their hours? What are your versus what your hours? How much are they charging versus how much you're charging? How many employees they have versus how many employees you have. You can find this out on their website, or you can actually sit down and talk to them, or you can shop the competition. People do it all the time. It's not anything wrong with it. Number 2, business and revenue model. This portion of your business plan is going to describe the specifics of your business products or services. So once you've found your industry sector, what kind of business are you building? And more importantly, how are you going to make money doing that? So how will the products or services be delivered? Are you opening a restaurant? Is it going to be a sit-down restaurant? Is it going to be a carry-out? Are you going to have drive-through? Those types of things. Are you going to cater? Are you going to, deliver? How are you going to, provide the products or services that you are offering? How are you going to make money? Is your business going to be, you're going to have a customer, it's going to be a one-time purchase and that's it. So maybe if you have an IT solution, somebody can purchase it, get the license for it, and that's it, it's done. Or is it a recurring monthly license? You're going to have recurring monthly revenues, subscriptions, or you're going to have heavy repeat usage. Like if you are a barbershop or a hair salon or a restaurant or retail, then you want to make something to where customers are constantly coming back to you, at least on a monthly or bi-weekly basis. And then, like I said, what are your prices versus what are your competitors' pricing? It's not always the best thing just to have the lowest cost because, sometimes providing a good value product means that you might have a higher cost than your competition. It doesn't make you less competitive. It puts you in a different level. So if, your products or services are superior, then it's going to warrant the higher price. And sometimes people, your customers, are looking for value in the product and not the price. So they want a good product and they're willing to pay for it. What value are you bringing versus the current market solutions? So that's your niche area. Like, what are you doing differently? What is it that you're doing that nobody else is doing? Or how are you doing it differently? You always have to have a niche, something that sets you apart from your competition and excels your business. Let's see, some other things we want to talk about. And when we say, what are your business ethics and what are your add-on services and how do you plan to grow? When I say business ethics, business values should always be clearly stated in your business plan. That's always at the front of your business plan under your executive summary. It talks about your mission statements, your where your values go, your objectives, your keys to success, stuff like that. Ethical businesses usually have a greater long-term viability. And then so what are your add-on services? So say for instance, you have one product or service or somebody comes into your store. Let's take a grocery store, for instance, because we've all been to a grocery store. So, it's very strategic, the things that they put at the checkout aisle. We've all heard that. It's part of the add-on services. So you've gone into the store and you've picked out the things that you wanted, and now you're at the checkout counter and they have all these things that you didn't think about or plan to buy. But, batteries, we all need batteries, chapstick, candy, gum, mints. All those things are at the checkout counter, so you can go ahead and throw them on the belt and have them rung up. And those are add-on services that add to the revenue of the business, of the store, the grocery store. And so the same thing you want to do in your business, the same thing that goes on in a hair salon. You ask for a cut, they ask you, do you want a shampoo if you're a guy? That's a barbershop. So with girls, you go to the hair salon You ask for your hairstyle, but then, and shampooed and stuff, you have to get deep conditioner, that's extra. You have to get trim, that's extra. You have to get color. So those are add-on services that pertain to any business industry sector that you're in. So think about what those things are going to be to build the revenue for your business. If you're in IT and you're offering products and solutions and licenses for different software and stuff, think about adding keyboards or mouse or selling computers, anything that is related, or service. Now you've sold this. What about the IT technician? You could charge for it to come out and service it. People do that all the time. You run a copy machine and you have to pay for the tech to come out when there's a problem or issue. So those are add-on services that you want to think about, how that pertains to what business you are in. What can you do to build that ticket? Number 3, sales and marketing plan. So I touched a little bit on that, building that. But you need to figure out your go-to market strategy. Who is your targeted market? How will you market your business? And make sure your marketing or your sales investment makes sense for the scale of revenues you're trying to build. So when you sit down and you think about, you know, you have this business and you took out a loan for it, and you want to know how much it is you need to charge for stuff. You could always start at the back end. Okay, you're taking out a $200,000 loan for this business, and you expect to make at least about $60,000 a year. So what can you do over a 12-month period to generate that revenue? How many salespeople do you have to have? How much staff? How much product do you need to sell? How many services do you need to provide? So whatever it is that you're doing, you backtrack that, divide it, on a monthly basis, divide those things by 12 on a weekly basis, and then you'll know on a, I have to sell this amount of services or products a day, this amount per week, this amount per month. This is what I'll make in a year minus my overhead. So that's how the numbers start to come to play in your business plan. A lot of people get overwhelmed when we talk about, do you have a business plan for your business? But don't overthink it. Just everything that's in your mind, put it down on paper. What it is that you thought about in your mind that you wanted to do, write it down. How you're going to do it, write it down. How much money you think you can make from it. So, and then how much you're going to charge for that product or service, write that down. Then you need space. How much is the lighting in that space? How much is the rent in that space? So those are the numbers games that you'll be playing. And like I said, you don't really have to overthink it. And if you have an accountant, they're always going to plug all those figures in for you, and it'll break it down in different charts and pie graphs, and you can throw all of that into your business plan. And that is the section that is the most important if you're trying to secure funding. If you're trying to get a loan for a business, they're going to flip right to that financials part to see, how are you going to be profitable, and did you really think that out? So, values. Clients don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Values determine what you will and what you will not do. So we can talk about, organic food. So if you were opening an organic food market, why are you doing that? Because we found that, different fruits and vegetables and meats and stuff like that have pesticides or this and that, things, additives and chemicals that some of us do not want in our food. So we're promoting this, all natural, whole, organic thing. So that's a value. That's something that people really, value. It's really important to them. And for you to advertise that and say, this is my value to provide healthy food alternatives, and that's what you have in your store. And that's what, they bring their kids to your store. There's not a bunch of candy or, sugar or corn syrup or fruit soaps. If they know that your values match theirs, then they will shop your store. So you can translate that to any industry sector. What your values and beliefs are usually like that of your customers, and that's why they're patronizing your business. So what are your values? And make that clear in your marketing strategy. Also, and so that's your target market. And how will you market your business? So we all know about, there's business cards, there's networking events, there are There's your internet, there's website, you have to have a website, and there's social media. You can market your business on LinkedIn, you can market your business on Facebook, you can market your business on Twitter. All of those things are tools that are free. Social media is free to market your business. And then all your brochures and your printing materials, you can have a budget allotted for that as well. Number 4, management team. This is the most important element to any business. So describe managers' experience or expertise as well as the duties or their job descriptions. Show managers contact information and the number of employees. You want a team that has been there and done that. A team that will not be experimenting and learning with your limited startup capital. So in your business plan, there will be a section called your, the executive summary goes up at the beginning, but then inside of your business plan, you will elaborate on that section. What it is, so your management summary. So what it is that they're looking for is to say, you have the expertise to do this business, to run this business, to be the CEO of this business, or you have hired a team of professionals that have the expertise to run this business. So if it's a partner that you're looking for, they want to know you have a strong team, you all can carry this out. If it's just you, if you have expertise in this area, you've been doing this, you've worked in this field for somebody else, you can put your resume. But if you haven't, and this is a new venture, then you need to write out your experience, like what team management experience do you have, or whatever it is you're trying to do. How did you get, what have you done in your lifetime to provide you the expertise to be able to do this? So you're going to elaborate on that in this section. And number 5, cash requirements. Sales and marketing investments will drive revenues. You also want to develop budgets, projected cash flow, your profit and loss statements, your balance sheets. Your revenues will have a cost of sales. The business will have overhead. You will have employee costs. How much operating loss will you need to fund? Fully think through your cash requirements before seeking financial investors. So let's look at this. All that sounds really complicated. It's not. You start a business, you're going to need either an office space or a storefront, depending on what type of business. Maybe it's flex office space, maybe it's warehouse. So based on the amount of square feet that you rent or purchase, it's going to be a cost associated with it. It's going to be a cost associated with the utilities, the water, the lights. What is that? Write it down. There's going to be a cost for how much equipment you need to start the business. Write that down. Those are your startup expenses. Your overhead is, like I said, the utilities and everything. Then you have your office equipment or your office supplies. You have your staff. Is it just you? Are you going to pay yourself salary? Do you have somebody working for you? And how much are you going to pay them? So these are the things that you're writing out. And then when you look at how much you're selling your product or service for, how much it costs you to run your business, and then you subtract your profits from, your overhead from your revenues, and then so you subtract your overhead from your revenues, and then you'll get your profit. So once you start with your list, everything that costs you something, everything you sign for, how often do you have to pay? Usually everything's going to be on a monthly basis, but, besides your salary, that you're going to have to pay out, those will be bi-weekly most likely. But look at everything on a monthly basis. Your wages, your overhead, your office supplies, your equipment. Then look at monthly what you're bringing in, and then look at the end of the day, what are you taking home? And then you multiply what you're taking home by annual, 12 months, and you look at how much you're making a year. Is that where you want to be? Or do you need to tweak some things? Do you need to hire some people? Do you need to let some people go? Do you need to change your prices? Do you need to grow your customer base? Do you do more marketing? You need to put more money in your marketing. Can you afford to put more money in your marketing budget? So these are the things that, banks, investors, they're going to look at to see, have you really thought this through? Do you have a viable business here that they want to give you money, to invest in? This is something that you can really make work So you do have to put some time and thought into this part, but it's not difficult. And there's software out there that can help you with this, that you can put these numbers in, like I said, and it'll do the calculations for you. And accountants are always able to do it as well. Number 6. So if you're going to be using your business plan to secure funding, then this part will be important: investor requirements and return on investment. So over the next 5 years, what will be your return on investment? The higher the return, the more favorable your business will be to investors, because then they know, hey, I can give you some money, you can pay me back, and you can pay me a certain percentage in addition to what I loaned you in the first place. So they want to see that you're getting a high return on their investment, but they're getting a high return on their investment. And so 2 drivers of our return on investment are the scale of revenues versus profits in that period, and the valuation at which the investor invested their money compared to the estimated valuation 5 years from now. So to sum that up, right now, $200,000 is worth, this to them. 5 years from now, $200,000 may be more like $250,000. So, $50,000 will be their return on investment in 5 years. It could be less, it could be more. It depends on the industry sector, it depends on the investor, it depends on the lender, it depends on interest rates, it depends on all of that. So, you don't need to overthink this section either. It's going to state what it is, and if you have investors, they're going to have their percentages, and they're going to really look at all of these things that you put together in this business plan as a whole to see that this is possible. So, to sum it up, the elements of a complete business plan look like this. Number 1 will be your executive summary. This can be up to 2 pages. It summarizes the plan. I'm going to read you this one. If some of you on here have met with me, I've given you some sample business plans. This one says, Kona Q is a fast, casual restaurant serving fast, fresh, healthy grilled meats and vegetables. The first store will be located in Salem, Oregon, with aggressive growth plans of 1 new store every 12 months. Kona Q is an Oregon corporation with Kevin Anderson as the president. And so then it talks about the market, 1 sentence, services and products, competitive edge, management, all 1 sentence. That's a summary. It sums up everything that you're going to go into the detail in the business plan. So the next thing will be the company summary. It's going to break down who your business is, what your business is, what your business does, location, and etc. Products and services. What problem are you solving, and what product or service are you using to solve that problem? Your market analysis, that targeted market, the needs, the trends that's going on. You see more needs for, I don't know, like the Uber drivers. No one wants to drive a car anymore. So, that's a trend that we've seen lately. Growth and who are your competitors? Always know who your competitors are. It's very seldom do you see somebody that will come up with an idea that nobody else has thought about before. Somebody else somewhere is doing it 9 times out of 10, but what are you going to do that's different? So always know who your competition is. Strategy and implementation plan. What's the value proposition? What is the pricing? What are your marketing and sales strategies? And what are your milestones? What are your goals? Are you starting this business to pass on to your kids? Are you starting this business to get rich in 5 years? Are you starting this business to sell it in a year? What are your milestones? What is your exit strategy? Management, those bios, the organizational structure, and the roles of each person who is going to be on your team. Maybe you're starting this business venture with 5 of your college buddies, and so what are the roles of each person going to be? You're going to have a finance person, your CEO, your vice president, et cetera, et cetera. Or maybe it's just you right now starting off, and if it's just you, that's fine. Put your bio. Financial plan. That's that profit and loss, your break-even analysis, how much you need to get started. You can't go to the bank and say, hey, I need $50,000 for my business. Well, what is that for? Well, I need equipment. Well, what is the equipment? We want to see a list, like, well, I'm going to buy 10 computers, and I need 10 desks, and I need 10, 2 staff. So you have to break down everything. You have to put the detail down there. You can't just come up with a number and expect somebody to put the money in your hands. They want to know that you have a plan that goes with that number and you can back it up. And now we're going to open it up for question and answers.
So if you have any questions for Kisha, please go ahead and type a question into the chat that's on the side of the video that you're viewing live. I'm going to give you guys just a moment to ask any questions that you may have. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes.
Okay, so there are no questions coming in at the moment. So again, my name is Kisha Logan. I'm the manager of small business services here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. If you would like to schedule a meeting with me to talk about your business, if you want assistance with your business plan, you want to talk about your marketing strategy, any of the sections of the business plan, you want to talk about growth strategies, any of that, feel free to contact me. 301-583-4650. I'm going to put my contact information right here on the screen. There's my email address, phone number. So you can contact me. We can sit down for an hour, schedule an hour to talk about your business and, how can we help you to grow your business and be more successful, or to get started, or, get your business plan in a state to where you can go and apply for a loan to start your business. All of those tools are available for you. That's what we're here for. So, and also you can feel free to email any questions to the email address on the screen. Josh, anything else?
I don't. Thank you so much, Kisha, for hosting today. And again, if you have any further questions or would like to set a meeting with her, her contact information is right here on the screen. And I want to thank you again for joining us for Webinar Wednesdays, and stay tuned for more Webinar Wednesdays to come. Thank you so much.
Have a good afternoon.